Hello, it's Nikki from My Healthy Beginning, and I've got actually what I want to share with you is is I want to share with you the topic of smart medicine for a healthy child, and where that topic came from is it's the name, and I don't even have it with me now that I'm thinking about it. It's the name of like my Bible. It's the name of my favorite book. I'm seeing this glare here, trying to get rid of this. It's the name of my favorite book in regards to like what my go-to is when stuff is going on with my kids. And it literally was my Bible with Sunny, who's 13 now. But it was my, like, anything came up with her, I hit that book. And here is why I love it so much. It is written, now I might get this incorrect now that I'm thinking about it. It's written by an MD, so it's written by a medical doctor, I believe a naturopathic physician, and also licensed acupuncturist, if I remember correctly. So that's also one of the things that drew me to the book was like, oh, cool, look at this is a really powerful setup. And then I started to read the book, and I literally read it like a book, like a novel. It's a huge book. It's about that thick, and it's broken down by illnesses or by, not so much symptoms, but certainly by illness. And what's awesome about it is that it gives you what's going on with that illness, what the symptoms are with that illness, and then it gives you this breakdown, like from the whole spectrum, a breakdown from how this would be handled in conventional medicine, and then how it would be handled herbally, how it would be handled homeopathically, how you can handle it with some nutritional supplementation. It is so great, like acupressure points and whatever. So you get like 4 pages, which really is super empowering for a parent, because we are in such the DIY state of wanting to just manage things on our own, like wondering, what we can do at home so that we can prevent a trip to the doctor's office or something like that, right? That might not be necessary. So we want to look at what are the things we can do from home to manage the health and well-being of our kids. So I love that book. And of course, like I said, I don't have it with me right now. But Smart Medicine for a Healthy Child, I think is what it's called. And then so here is my background on that. I think that, so there's the whole, like, it takes a village to raise a child, right? And I also think that we need to create a team around the health and well-being of our family system as a whole. So I was recently doing a talk in downtown St. Paul, and I got the evaluation back, and someone kind of chewed my rear end apart for that I don't take my kids to pediatric child visits. And okay, I can live with that. I'm fine with it. And that's the assumption that we don't do anything. Do you get what I mean? Like, that's the assumption that I'm just turning a blind eye and we're just letting these kids run around, doing whatever we want them to do or doing whatever they want to do. And that is not the case. So let me give you a little background on what we have done, and if that gives you some ideas and some excitement about taking the steps toward what makes sense for your family, then that's what I'm hoping it opens up for you. Because a lot of people too are stuck with like, well, I do things on the conventional medicine side of things and everything else is woohoo. Or people think you're over here on what they consider like the woohoo side of the tracks. And some people who are doing things more alternatively or holistically have a complete stop for conventional medicine, and there is a time and a place for that, definitely. And then there are some who really nicely blend the two. And so I know as a former childbirth educator, I really took the stand of meeting people where they were at, like where their comfort level was. And often inside that comfort level, there is a little curiosity. And so we would just sort of to whet the appetite with like, well, what is it that you're curious about? And oftentimes the things they were curious about were things that they, like intuitively felt they could manage, but that someone else would judge them for doing it differently than, say, just taking your kids into the doctor's office. Obviously, if it's an emergency, and this is not medical advice I'm giving you here, but, you seek medical attention. And so I thought that was fascinating. But the one thing I told them is like, look, there's Western medicine, and then there is alternative and complementary healthcare, and you can really manage a lot in both of those arenas. You just have to find what's comfortable for you. And so maybe it's a little bit from here and a little from here and a little here and a little here, and you bring it together and you have something that feels really, really comfortable for you and just gives you a solid place to stand. And when you have a solid place to stand, you can just see really clearly the next best thing for you. So, okay, so again, to back up, people ask me this question: are my kids vaccinated? No, they're not. That was not an accident. That was a choice. And yeah, so that's where we are. Unvaccinated and very educated about the topic. So here's the other thing. We're not taking that lightly, okay? So we go about it from a perspective of our kids get regular chiropractic adjustments, sometimes as often as weekly as needed, but certainly no more than every 2 to 3 weeks in terms of, length in between. We take excellent care of ourselves in terms of nutrition, and not just, we are healthy people, but we eat really good food, we eat really clean, and it doesn't mean we say no to everything. It just means that 90% of the time this is the way we do things so that we can better handle the 10% that comes up. And for those of you who aren't familiar, our kids are 13, 9, and almost 2, and, we've managed social situations and birthday parties and the, crap fest of every celebration being honored with food in the school systems. Like, we have managed and navigated all of that and still had our kids feel included in what is going on. Like, our kids take lunch to school, and that works, and they actually pack their own lunches, and, they've done that for years, and they're excited about that. Our kids were all born at home, and I have a strong belief in that is the safest start for most babies. And it's not always the right way for every family by any means. I've been a birth doula for a long time, and wherever mom is the most comfortable is obviously the best place for her to have her baby. And where you have your baby definitely has some implications on their health in the long term. So it's one thing to consider when you're looking at that. If you Google My Healthy Beginning and where to give birth in the Twin Cities, or My Healthy Beginning and childbirth education in the Twin Cities, you're going to get a really lengthy list of where to find those resources, like I said, specific to the Twin Cities, so that you can start to build up that arsenal and find, the right support you might be looking for if you are in that particular stage of life. Okay, so let's think of what else here. So because we did not vaccinate, we use homeopathy, and we work with a world-renowned homeopath. Her name is Kate Birch. She has authored a few books that are really great, teaches ongoing workshops, speaks internationally on the topic of homeoprophylaxis. Although our children are not on her homeoprophylaxis program, our kids have been managed very successfully under her care for all of these years. Okay, so what else? A question I often get is like, so if your child starts running a fever, or your kids are sick, like what do you do, Nikki? Like, how do you manage that? So this is not medical advice. This is not telling you what you need to do. This might just give you access to, what you might want to try next, or have been thinking about trying. So first of all, if my kids are looking tired or something's up, with them, I'll certainly just keep them home from school, because I don't think pushing it works. So we definitely just have, quiet days at home if need be. And then oftentimes they're right back where they need to be, and they go to school the next day, and all is well. When we push them, they get stressed too inside of their days of being in school and doing their chores and doing their homework. And they get pushed over the edge really easily too. So just like we would want a day to rest, like, it's important to offer that to our kids, I think. Secondly is I would get them to the chiropractor and get them adjusted an extra time that week, and just see if you can't more quickly push whatever the body's dealing with through the body. And usually a chiropractic adjustment alerts the body's army to stand up and, take charge of whatever needs to be managed. With nutrition response testing, I can obviously test my own kids to find out what's going on, what kind of immune challenge, if it's an immune challenge or if it's some other kind of toxicity or something that just is stressing out the body, and then do what I need to do to manage that accordingly. And then outside of the few, I would say 2 to 3 times that each of our kids goes to see our homeopath throughout the year for more of just ongoing support and care, if something comes up and we can't quite get it, that's when I call her. And every time, like 99.99999% of the time, it's managed in very short order, and sometimes it means multiple calls to her over the course of multiple days to get a high fever managed, or to get strep throat managed, or whatever it might be. And so that always puts me into a really, really healthy state of mind as a parent, because my resources work, so I feel empowered as a parent in terms of the course of action we use to offer care, to our kids and for ourselves. It's the same course of action for myself. If something's going on, I do the same thing. I'll run and get adjusted. I'll lay off exercise. I will, if I've been imbibing in some sort of gluten-free grain, I'll knock that off. I consume little to no dairy. If I do, it's goat, and even then I'll just cut that out. So I know how to manage my own care pretty well, and I don't often experience it's been a couple of years since I've had any sort of sickness. Now, doesn't, mean that wouldn't happen. Certainly, I work myself hard enough to wear myself down for sure. So what my goal of this video is to just give you some ideas of how to think outside the box. So much of how we feel, both our emotional and physical health, comes from a lack of sleep, too much stress, too much processed food, not enough clean, real food. Just that go, 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 like it just doesn't work. Too much screen time, right? Too much radiation, all those things. And so there's a nice healthy balance. If you're willing to bring that balance to it, there really is a balance, and it really does work. Like we see that every day here in this practice with families, kids coming in with, eczema or chronic pain or stomach aches or headaches, kind of you name it. And almost always it's just this huge cluster of all of that going on with, maybe 1 or 2 specific things to their individual care that once we tweak and offer them support for and really build up the body's ability to fight that battle really well, then they weather the storm really well. And then mom gets really empowered and has just a really positive and excited way of managing her kids' care on her own before she has to reach out for more support. So that's really where I'm coming from, is how can we create a village of parents that feel really empowered versus compelled and obligated and, because I'm doing this because such and so told me to do this. Like, we have to remember that we are the consumers and we actually get to choose the best care for our children, in our families and in our community. So again, the book that just kind of prompted me to create this video is Smart Medicine for a Healthy Child. I love this book. It's such a great book. And actually, another one I should talk about is, let me grab it. I know I have. Okay, so Kate Birch, our homeopath, like I said, she wrote the family, here, let me see if I can get this on the screen, The Best Family Homeopathy Acute Care Manual by Kate Birch. I'm sorry, I have to hold it at an angle, otherwise the glare starts to come in. Let me see if I can do it over here. Yeah, The Best Family Homeopathy Acute Care Manual by Kate Birch, B-I-R-C-H. Anyway, that's a fantastic book too, and she really goes symptom by symptom to really give you access to what are the homeopathic remedies that you could try using, And then you could access her, her apprentice, or her team if you needed more support there. But homeopathy, man, it works every time. It's really great, really powerful stuff. So, okay, thanks for hanging in there. Sorry this got to be a long video. I just wanted to answer, the consistent questions that come in around, like, how do you manage your kids' care, and are your kids vaccinated? And, if you want to get into why, you can give me a call. We can talk about that. But there you go. Okay. So, for more information on just clean, healthy living and raising healthy families, you can like our My Healthy Beginning Facebook page for like ongoing great information there. You can opt into our freebies at our website, myhealthybeginning.com. Or specifically, if you're looking for nutrition response testing, feel free to give us a call here, info@myhealthybeginning.com, 612-418-3801. Thanks for joining me. Bye.